might have slightly broken the rules in terms of my answers being numerical or sequential. Here I go. It's appropriate that you chose the 2015 referendum as the first question, because I believe this is actually what the Governance Committee is all about. Norfolk Island's governance is very complex. Unlike Australia's governance model, which was established by the Australian Constitution in 1901, and unlike most of the world's other dependent territories, Norfolk Island's governance relationship with Australia continues to be administered under provisions established in the colonial era. To offer historical context, the following extracts from Hansard provide an insight into how Australia determined it would administer Norfolk Island after the authority to do so was transferred from Great Britain in 1914, noting that this debate initiated a legal relationship between Norfolk Islanders and Australia that we still operate under today. We had two speeches from the Prime Minister. In the first, he said that we were passing the Constitution for Norfolk Island and the islanders could have the laws that they wished. In his second speech, he contradicted this and pointed out that the bill now under consideration does not give the islanders the powers to do anything. We have undoubtedly agreed to provisions which, to a large extent, establish a dictatorship over them. In this context, it's not difficult to see why our community was so pleased when our former advisory council negotiated a limited form of self-government for Norfolk in 1979. Nor is it difficult to understand why we chose to appeal the abolition of our government in 2015 and request that the Australian government recognise our legal right to democracy and to freely determine how we're governed. Today, 8 years on, the current Australian government have now agreed to come to the table. They have agreed a community request to elect 3 Norfolk Island representatives to lead the process of designing a new governance model for Norfolk Island, their roles and the desired outcomes. The Governance Committee, in one of its roles, has a responsibility to address matters of concern to our community until such time as our island has an elected democratic government with the authority to put in place more permanent measures. As your question 2 infers, addressing the continuing impacts of open and uncontrolled migration to Norfolk Island is one such matter that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Returning to the principal role of the committee, as one of the key concerns for our community is that we go through the process of designing a new governance model for Norfolk Island, only for it to be amended or abolished by a future Australian Parliament without our agreement or consent. Properly addressing this concern is key, and the Governance Committee should consider engaging the following measures in the design of our new governance model. The first and most obvious is to ensure our new model is financially sustainable. Second, we acknowledge the legal and historical fact that as a distinct and separate territory, Norfolk Island's governance must be treated differently from other places and must be preserved as the homeland of the Pitcairn descendants and the many other people who have made Norfolk Island their home. Third, that we establish mechanisms to ensure we maintain good communication between Norfolk Island and Australia and a joint commitment to reviewing and ensuring the ongoing success of the new model. Fourth, that the new model guarantees our right to vote and to participate directly in the affairs of our island and to make laws that properly reflect our communal, cultural and societal values. Fifth, we ensure that our rights are properly recognised and legally entrenched within the new governance model. And finally, we look to territories like the Falkland and Cook Islands to find ways for our new governing body to be found upon a modern, proven and effective constitutional framework. As to the model itself, a number of questions relate to the 1979 governance framework being used as a potential starting point for the design process. Certainly suggesting that this model was a failure is wrong, and the incredible achievements of our community over 36 years of limited self-government should be acknowledged. We should wholeheartedly embrace the positive qualities from that model, including the laws passed by our Parliament that still exist today for no other reason than they are good laws designed to meet our needs. And we should also consider the underlying structural framework of the 1979 model in our new model, that is the legislative, administrative and judicial systems which have proven to be effective in terms of delivering genuine democracy to Norfolk Island. So while I agree with this as a general proposition, we should also acknowledge that the 1979 model had demonstrable shortcomings, and our primary focus should be on using this opportunity to deliver the best possible governance model for Norfolk Island. For example, in comparison to the 1979 arrangements, our new model needs to embrace more dynamic and sustainable funding arrangements and needs more realistic ways to fund and maintain our public infrastructure. We need appropriate review mechanisms to ensure we maintain a strong and cooperative relationship with the Australian Government and to find better ways to manage our shared responsibilities. And our new model needs to be less controlled and more supported. Our laws should not be subject to blanket veto powers, and Commonwealth laws, where it is appropriate that they apply, should be adapted to meet Norfolk Island's requirements. Turning to the other questions in brief, given that this is likely the most consequential election in our history, I agree it is very important that every eligible person enrolls and votes, that our three community members work well together, and that the new model enjoys the majority support of our community. Finally, and this relates to the questions around the strengths and characteristics of our community representatives. My primary interest in this regard is in ensuring that no one thinks this process is about trading away or compromising on our rights or community's interests. It is the exact opposite. It's about formally recognising our rights and interests and ensuring they are properly reflected in the way we are governed. It's about finding ways for Norfolk Island and Australia to properly manage our shared interests and to have a mutually respectful, mutually beneficial relationship going forward. And it's about ensuring Norfolk Island has a well-considered democratic governance model that is freely chosen by our community and duly protected for the benefit of future generations.